Hello, thank you for coming. We're going to do the Quilts of Valor presentation, and we have two people from the actual Quilts of Valor organization, and they're going to do the presentations. It's Jackie and Shelly, and usually they do it at Shelly's Quilt Shop, but we brought it here for us.
Thank you, Cheryl. Real quick, I'm Shelly Johnson. I am the Boone County Coordinator for Quilts of Valor, and this is Jackie Becker, and she's the Winnebago County Coordinator for Quilts of Valor. And we kind of work together in my quilt shop in Belvedere, and Cheryl came to us one day and said, I have this little group of ladies, and we've been quilting, and we'd like to award some Quilts of Valor. And our first response was absolutely thank you for this opportunity. So how many are familiar with Quilts of Valor? Anybody heard of Quilts of Valor? Okay. The foundation was organized over 20 years ago by a Blue Star mom. One night she had a dream, and in this dream was a young soldier. He was sitting on the side of a bed, very depressed, very, no hope for going forward in life. And then it was like a film. She said within the next frame of the film, here's the same soldier sitting on the side of the bed with a quilt wrapped around him. Renewed energy, renewed life, renewed hope for the future. And so in her mind, quilts equal healing for our veterans.
Since then, over 373,394 Quilts of Valor have been awarded here in the United States, Germany, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Our mission is to honor our service members and veterans who have been touched by war, whether in a time of crisis or in a time of peace, with the Quilts of Valor. Our local group, the Sunshine Stitchers, meets in Belvedere once a month. Cheryl has joined us on numerous occasions to come over and help put the quilt tops together. Our group is dependent on donations, whether it be fabrics, supplies, individuals' time to be able to make the tops or quilt the quilts, and cash donations. The quilts that we'll be awarding today bring a three-part message from our hearts. First, we honor you for your service. A veteran, whether active duty, retired, National Guard, or Reserve, is someone who at some point in their life wrote a blank check payable to the United States of America for up to and including your life. Next, we want you to know that freedom is not free. The cost of our freedom is the dedication of lives of men and women like you, and this quilt is our way to say thank you for your service and sacrifice.
And finally, this quilt is meant to offer you comfort and peace, and to remind you that although family and friends cannot be with you at all times, you are forever in our thoughts and our hearts. This quilt is meant to be used, not folded at the foot of the bed, nor put on the shelf of a closet. Please use it. A Quilt of Valor is priceless. It is a once-in-a-lifetime award and cannot be bought or sold. Our quilts are awarded, not just handed out, and they're only for the living service members. A Quilt of Valor is not to be given as a birthday or a Christmas gift. It is not a charity gift. A Quilt of Valor is also not a blanket. This Quilt of Valor unequivocally says, thank you for your service, sacrifice, and valor in serving our nation.
Our quilts consist of 3 layers held together by its stitches. We like to think of the layers in this way. The top of the quilt, with its many colors, shapes, fabrics, represent the communities and the many individuals that we are. The batting, or the filler, is the center of the quilt and provides its warmth. It represents the hope that this quilt will bring warmth, comfort, peace, and healing to the individual who receives it. The backing is the strength that supports all of the other layers. It represents the strength of the recipient, the support of his or her family, our communities, as well as our nation. Attached to the back of the Quilts of Valor is a special label recognizing the recipient, the maker, the quilter, and the date of the award. Each stitch that holds the layers together represents the love, gratitude, and sometimes the tears of the maker. Each Quilts of Valor is formed by loving hands that joins bits of fabric together one piece at a time. We believe that as we sew, our love, caring, and gratitude flow from our hearts through our hands into the quilts that we make. All of us as quilters want you to know that through our quilts, you are forever in our hearts.
Today we have the honor to award Quilts of Valor to veterans who served in the Air Force, Army, and Marines. When we call your name, we will ask you to come forward, and we'll just have you stand down here at the bottom. Each person will be wrapped with a quilt, and I mean we will wrap the quilt around you. We will give you a hug, and we will hand you a certificate that says, the Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it our privilege to do so. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America, we award you this Quilt of Valor as an expression of our gratitude from a grateful nation. So it is my honor to award the first quilt on behalf of the Quilts of Valor Foundation to Mr. William Bill Piper. Mr. Piper currently lives in Marengo. He served in the United States Air Force in the 461st Bomb Wing. He was a captain at the time of discharge. Mr. Piper served from 1956 to 1966. He was stationed in Amarillo, Texas, Korea, South Dakota. He flew B-52 bombers and served through the Cold War. Special honors include the B-52 2,000 Hour Club, the Aircraft Commander's Certificate. Mr. Piper, thank you for your service. We can take our group picture. We will do a group picture at the end, and we can just come around Mr. Piper. That would be perfect. Our next veteran today is Mr. Marnell Mendoza. Mr. Mendoza currently resides in Marengo, and he served in the United States Marine Corps. He served from 1990 to 1994. When he was discharged, he was a Corporal E4. He served in Okinawa, Japan, 29 Palms, California, and he was stationed aboard a naval ship, but we did not know which one.
St. Louis and Dubuque.
USS St. Louis and Dubuque. His MOS was Field Artillery of the 0811. He served with the 212 and 311, as well as the 7th Marines Regiment Combat Team. Medals include the Good Conduct Medal, Overseas Deployment, and a letter of commendation in support of Somalia. Mr. Mendoza, Thank you for your service. Next, we have Mr. Michael Wilden. He served in the United States Marine Corps and upon discharge was recognized as a corporal. He served from 1968 to 1970 and served in Vietnam and was also stationed in Japan. His duties included the infantry and infantry in Vietnam. Special awards and medals included 3 different military medals. Mr. Wilden, thank you for your service. And we would like to recognize one more. This gentleman currently is home resting.
Can't see him, Mark.
And he has his quilt, so we're hoping he has it wrapped around him. This is Mr. Mark Fringer. He served in the United States Army and was in the Army from 1974 to 1976, and he was a Specialist 5 at discharge. Served at the Anacostia Naval Station and was at the White House Communications Agency. Special honors and medals include a Joint Service Commendation Medal, a Certificate of Appreciation, and in Japan was with President Ford, Military Merit, Presidential Service Badge, Honor Graduate, and he was the first official stop on a bicentennial day, and he was able to announce the president, that was President Ford, on July 4th, 1976. So, Mr. Fringer, thank you for your service. On behalf of the Quilts of Valor Foundation and a grateful nation, with our deepest appreciation, we thank you for your service to our country, and with this Quilt of Valor, we welcome you home. Thank you for coming and helping us to award these special quilts, and we're going to ask for a group picture.
We're going to try to get you in the group picture, Mark.